of the
Yeah,
final whistle. Folks, it is the week. We have been talking about this since pretty much we started this podcast. I am Kyle. He is Mark. And joining us today, a great friend of ours, a man who likes to rile up fantasy leagues, a man who has an amazing house, a man that's been a good friend of ours for pretty much our entire lives. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brandon Bassett.
Hey, OH baby.
I
Yeah,
And
there it
oh,
is.
and oh. So Brandon, welcome to the show. We are happy to have you on today. And how you doing, my guy?
We're doing great. Thanks for having me, you guys.
We love it. We love you. Love that you're on. So give us a little bit of
I
background.
love you too, Kyle. Thank you.
Uh, we know you're a big football guy. You played in high school. You played a year in college. What? Just give people background. What got you into football? Is like your favorite sport, and you wanted to play football growing up.
Just my family, just all around, just loving football. I grew into the sport. Probably threw my first football when I was like probably 2, 3 years old. If you don't know me, I love kicking the football.
Oh yeah.
I came fifth in the state for punter my senior year in high school. But me being a big guy, I like being physical up front, so I had to go the O-line route into college. But I love the physicality. Just like NCAA, NFL, anything can happen on a Saturday and Sunday. I love it. Always keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, and folks, I've seen this kid kick a kickball over on roofs of schools in elementary. I've seen him kick punts when we were playing and hitting houses in the front yard. Woof! And if he would probably try out now, he would probably get a job in college and get an
that brother
NFL.
got a leg on him.
Yeah, he
Hey,
sure
my net
does.
average better than the Browns punter. All I gotta say, mine was 48.7 in high school. So
And I
that's all
remember
I gotta
he's
say.
like, he even told me our former athletic director. He's like, dude, I don't even know how I got that. I'm like, well, you kick the ball every freaking time. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a
Talbert wanted to announce me as first team all punter.
all for all
Fucking
special teams.
Brooklyn Hurricanes punting fucking 200 times a fucking game.
Hell
You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
how that goes.
pretty much, pretty much. So as we'll turn it over to Mark. Mark, what's going on, my guy? How are you?
Oh, welcome to you can drop the M off of that name, buddy. We don't we
Nope,
X out
Yeah, his
all
name's
M's this
Ark
week.
today, buddy.
Yup.
nope.
Ark or Zark, whichever one
Ark.
you want to do. But we're doing great. It's finally hate week. We had a great weekend here in Cleveland sports, and I can't wait to dive in, especially with Brandon being on. It should be a great show.
And it's going to be a great show. And before my internet starts getting wonky, we want to wish you be the first or maybe the last penguin you're listening. A happy Thanksgiving. Please be safe this week. We know it's a big weekend, especially on Saturday. So happy Thanksgiving to all. Enjoy the friends, or enjoy the time with your friends and family, turkey bowl, eating, whatever. So enjoy it. Happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe this weekend. Be smart. Don't do dumb things. And enjoy the weekend ahead. All right, so here we go. We could throw all the records out, folks. Throw all the rankings out because this game is just a rivalry game. You could, as Mark with that little look here, it's Ohio State, Michigan, and there's a reason, folks. Me and Mark always talk about Michigan, Ohio State. It comes to this. It comes down to this. It's a lot at stake here, Mark, and we'll leave it. We'll start with you, Michigan, Ohio State. Your first take. What are you most excited about in this game?
Well, first we'll start with I can't wait to see this defense play another lights out week. It should be another offensive challenge at least for that defense. They run the ball. As we know, for those of you that are actual Ohio State fans, you probably watched every Michigan game as well, and we all know they like to run between the tackles. And that gives Arva Reese and Sunday Styles time and all the opportunity in the world to go hunt. I know Michigan's running backs are a little bit banged up, and Ohio State's wide receiver core, at least the big names, are banged up as well. So that's the big story. It should be another interesting battle as well. Michigan's got to face Michigan's defense, which has been shoddy at times. Obviously, has to play the Heisman frontrunner right now, and Julian Sane, who's throwing honestly a great football. I mean, if he could come out this year, he'd probably be a top five pick, all things considered. So a bunch of storylines to go in, but I think none other than the biggest one being can Ryan Day beat the mental game
Monkey.
of Michigan and just coach the way he needs to coach the way he has been not only all year this year, but in the playoffs last year as well, and throw out the whole it's Michigan week thing and really just coach and win the football game. You got the talent, you got the record, you got everything you need. So just coach the way you need to coach. Don't be intimidated by the game and let's open a can of whoop ass on these bums.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Brandon, I know we were talking a little bit, off here about you not really getting, you don't want to get too excited or kind of predict on Ohio State win because you know what's happened in the past couple of years. So we'll turn it to you. What are you most looking forward to in this game, knowing it's a rivalry game and anything could happen?
We got Reese on the defensive side. As you know, he's becoming a rising star pretty quickly. Not projecting the number one round in NFL draft this upcoming season. Um, all things considered, this is the first game Ohio State is going to play where the weather will impact the game. All game so far has been cool and calm. This Saturday is going to be a wind chill of 17 degrees, windy. It's going to be raining. We're going to hit the ground hard running. Hopefully, our front end could really push the line back a little bit, which is good for us. 'Cause I think one of Michigan's strengths is their pass defense. So, I mean, we could just run the ball all day and because of the rain. So, I think that'll help us out a little bit.
It's definitely be strength versus strength, as Michigan does have a good run game, as Jordan Marshall is expected to play as they held him out for Maryland for precautionary reasons. And I think it's going to come down to more of the trenches, who can block better, who could defend better, because who the last I forgot how many games it was, whoever the last number of games in this rivalry, whoever had the most rushing yards won this game, Mark. So you look at it, and it's got to be who's going to win that trenches, because for Ohio State, they still don't know that right side of the line, the right guard, right tackle. They're still kind of flip flopping this late in the season. I don't. It's hard to like. It's kind. I wouldn't say scary, but you're kind of thinking, all right, who can they trust? Knowing Michigan has Jay Sean Barnum, Derek Moore, TJ Guy that could come to that side, and if they don't have a set line, it could play a little bit of factor in that. No.
I mean, I feel like they could, but at the same time, if kind of as Brandon said, when it comes to the run game as a whole, you've seen Ohio State's run game get better and better, especially in the last couple of weeks as Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith have been absent or hindered in the lineup. You've seen Bo Jackson now get stronger and stronger. I know he had a couple of fumbles here and there, but you've also seen backs like James Peoples really come along. He's had some really great plays. You're seeing Isaiah West, the other freshman running back, have flashes, and you always have Donaldson, who's honestly an excellent goal line back, all things considered. Even though he lost all that weight coming from West Virginia over here, I mean, you've seen them run the ball time and time again, and you've seen how their running game has grown. Not to mention the fact, let's be honest, we all know that if Jeremiah Smith bare minimum plays, you know they're going to give him a couple end arounds, a couple of screens. That's basically extended run plays, anyways. And at the end of the day, if you get Ohio State playmakers on the edges, you're going to have problems regardless. Michigan's defense has come alive a bit late in the season, but at the same time, I think when you talk about Ohio State's offensive line, that kind of falls into a rivalry piece as well, where all those kids are going to play as hard as they possibly can, no matter what, and that's going to bode well from them. Especially being that I think everybody understands. I believe it's the last. It's around 15 or 20 matchups. Whoever wins that running game and rushing
Yeah.
battle wins the game. So I mean, you're gonna see a lot of hard playing, a lot of hard hitting, and I think that also bodes well for Ohio State's defense, being that we have the best linebacker duo in the country, and uh, and you got guys like Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson, who have been going off, as the big D tackle McDonald. He's been coming along the past couple of games and really eating up offensive lines. Granted, this is probably the best O line we'll play all year so far, outside of maybe Penn State. So it'll definitely be an interesting taste for them when it comes to the fact that Michigan actually has something to play for here. I think that's a determining factor as well, and I like Ohio State's chances in the trenches for sure.
Yeah, and it's gonna come to trenches because Michigan, they're always in the lead for the Joe Moorhead, or was it Joe, the offensive line award for college each and every year. I think there's somewhat finalists
Yep.
this year, and Ohio State's looking to part with their line as well, especially on the defensive end. So it's gonna be battle of the trenches. And I'll ask Brandon, when you played line, so I'll ask you this: when you're playing offensive line, what are you looking for in a defensive end, or how are you trying to study the defensive line, knowing what you're going up against, especially in a big game like this?
Kyle, what'd you say?
When So you're looking. When you're on the O line,
I'm
right?
listening to the NFL game. My bad.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
So you're an offensive lineman. So I was going to ask you, what when you're studying the defense line, especially in the trenches in a big game, because, you're in college, you had to study film. What are you looking for in the D line to kind of maybe prevent them from getting to your quarterback or doing something one step ahead of them when you're watching film and going into the game?
Yeah, definitely look for any stunts, any trickery they might do. I know stunts always could get the offensive line off track. Even how their linebackers come up to the line and step back. But I think stunts is a big deal in how we watch the D line play against an O line
Yeah, and it's gonna be
and
more.
coming off the ball with quickness and how wide they play out of the tackle. With our Ohio State tackles, I'm not worried.
Yeah, and it's been their kind of saving great, kind of protecting Sane, letting him get the ball to JJ, and Carnell Tate, who's we don't know if he's gonna. We think Jeremiah Smith's gonna play. Carnell Tate could be. We don't know how much, if he will play, or if he does, how much he will play nursing that Achilles. But Mark, I'll ask you one thing. Let's go. I'll actually go to Brandon, and then we'll go to Mark. One thing you're nervous about this game regarding, on any side of the ball. You worried about maybe the receivers, or you worried about one Michigan doing something that could help Michigan win the game over Ohio State?
Um, I'm not worried at all. Ohio State's going to do Ohio State things. This is the first year since 1973 that we're coming into the game undefeated and number one in the country. So I think we're going to come off strong this game. The only thing worrying me is that it's a big rivalry game. Anything could happen. Anything could go sideways. Other from that, if we just play Ohio State football how we've been, I don't think it's going to be close this year.
Mark, one thing that worries me for Michigan is the first drive. Michigan has literally almost every game this year has led a first drive, either field goal or touchdown going. I know if you've been watching it, we've talked about it. So that kind of worries me. But Wink has adjusted, which is good. We've seen him adjust. But I saw a couple things in Maryland game that worries me. Ohio State loves those crossing routes, especially like 5 yard crossers. They love to get those receivers out in space and get lost, and that's one thing I worry. Maryland did a lot of that, so I'm hoping they kind of set something up there for Michigan. Another thing that worries me would be if Underwood has another freshman game that kind of takes him out of it early, because it's you want to it's a little bit easier knowing you got a quarterback compared to last year. What they had, that Davis Warren, who cancer walk on patient, and only had 65 total passing yards in the entire game. So it was definitely a weird situation. But that kind of worries me, Mark, kind of on the offensive side and defensive side. Who's going to make that adjustment down the stretch to probably win this game? Is it going to be Wink? Is it going to be Patricia? There's a lot of moving parts, but that worries me more with the crossing routes and maybe the slants as well. And Bryce has got to read those RPO as well in order to give their offense a chance.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I'm kind of in the same boat as Brandon. Ohio State has shown me a lot of things this year that allows me to understand that they're prepared to play Michigan. Coming into many Michigan games, especially on this losing streak that we've had in the game, you've noticed Ohio State offense is really explosive and they rely on explosives. But this year alone, they're playing a lot more slow. They're playing methodical, and they can beat you however way they want. They've shown the ability to drive 99 yards with 10, 15, 18 play drives and just kill you by death of a thousand cuts. And they'll also throw a bomb over your head to one of these 5-star wide receivers that are, I mean, pretty much all of them are going to be in the first three
Dude,
rounds anyways. So, I mean, you have
Brandon's
fucking
that.
3
watching.
picks.
Brandon's watching Monday
As
Night
What the
Brandon,
Football.
hell?
goes crazy
Jared, if
about the
you're
Monday
watching
night
this,
game.
congrats on the W. Brock Purdy sucks ass.
Hey, he is garbage. But yeah, I mean, I would say the only thing that Michigan really has by way of chance is at the end of the day, they have the ability to shorten the game. And that has always been a factor in the game ever since Harbaugh's been a coach. They've done well on shortening the game, really suffocating Ohio State's drives. But I don't find myself worried in this game based off the fact that Ryan Day, Brian Hartline, and this entire offense has pretty much um, played to that advantage, played slow, played methodical, and made sure they've gotten their reps in on slow drives and things like that. Not to mention the fact that, I mean, we had a number one defense last year coming into the game, and it was hard for Michigan to score, and now our defense is even better, and we have an even better DC. So I think Underwood is going to have a lot on his plate to read. You talk about RPOs and things like that. Um, the ultimate thing when it comes to an RPO, for those of you that don't really know football that well, is good backers. And we have good backers, and we have the best safety in college football who plays in the box around 50% of the time, anyways. So I mean, we're looking at RPOs. You're going to have to. I mean, I think Michigan's wide receivers are going to have to beat us this week, and that's going to be a tough task against these DBs, especially when Michigan wide receivers have had real trouble with separation and finding themselves a number one. I think going into like 3 weeks ago, their number one wide receiver was a prior quarterback for Indiana. Um, Now I know that Marsh kid kind of came alive the last couple of weeks, but
Yeah,
Bryce is basically going up against the NFL defense as a 19-year-old, and that's a lot to ask of a kid.
yeah, it's a rivalry. Anything as he's kind of weathered the storm, which I like. But I'll ask you, Mark, and then we'll go to Brandon. If this game is close, let's go. If this game is close in the fourth quarter, either tied or one possession, what's going to worry you the most going into the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter? If Ohio State's kind of like now they're second guessing, here we go again. What will worry you down the stretch? Will it be coaching? Is it going to be the plays? How what do you think is gonna be creeping into the mind, knowing that here we go again, one score game, and Michigan or Ohio really hasn't looked dominant.
I think the only thing that could potentially even play a factor in something like that is the fact that it'll be our backfield's first rivalry game. Obviously, saying he's looked great, he's pretty much looked impeccable outside of maybe the first couple of games of the season. But when rubber meets the road, you've got a redshirt freshman quarterback, and you've pretty much been leaning on two true freshman running backs that have shown the ability to cough the ball up down near the goal line or in big moments. So that would be, I think, the maybe the one flaw that Ohio State could have if it is close is what do those young kids do that haven't really been in the game. And I think that's where Ryan Day and Brian Hartline come in, and they have to be on their A game coaching wise because you have other options. You have ways to get the ball out of those young kids' hands that have shown the ability to cough the ball up and things like that. You have to find a new way to get the ball into somebody like JJ's hands or like Brandon Innes. You got to find a way to get those guys the ball, especially if it's a close game. And that's I think my one fear is that we might not adjust that way, and we'll put too much on some young kids, and they'll have to either put up or shut up. But even those kids are 5-star kids, so all the hope in the world in them.
Yeah, and against Rutgers, Mark, we talked about they fumbled on the goal line, the one, and they could have had another score if it wasn't for that fumble. But I'll ask you, Brandon, this kind of the same thing. Fourth quarter, what do you think it worries you if it comes down to fourth quarter? Maybe a kick, maybe a one possession game that you got to worry about if you're Ohio State, knowing that here we go again. You're not dominant. You're not dominating the game the way people think, and you got to fight for your life to stay the course.
I think what Ohio State cannot do this game is play slow, like Mark said. We don't run as near like a lot of plays a game. I believe I've read something how like the amount of plays Ohio State runs adds up to like 2 bye weeks. Like that's insane. We gotta play fast. Like we can't play that conservative offense bullshit. We gotta keep running, running, running. If we have a big lead, do not let up. We gotta keep pounding it down their throats. We cannot play slow. If we play slow and make it into a one possession game all game, might get a little sweaty palms there.
That's what he parlance. Yeah, and Michigan's gonna they love to run. They're gonna run. They're going to try to slow the game down, take time off the clock, off the possession, and then you got to decide with the coin toss. Whoever wins, you're probably gonna go on defense first to defer the ball to the second half, which is probably smart. Let your defense set the tone, and all that. And Mark, I come back to you. It's let's give me your what's going to be your X factor, or let's just say X factor going into this game, knowing that your wide receivers might not be 100% healthy, but knowing you still got Ennis, you still got a couple freshmen that are ready to step up, and you still have that defense that's there. What is your one X and O X factor that you're looking for to spotlight on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's the defense. If that defense can stay the course, stay steady. I mean, they suffocate everyone. They are giving up less than 10 points a game for pretty much for the entire season, I believe. There's only been, I believe, two teams all year that have scored more than 10 points. For a while there, we were giving up only 5.5 a game. So even if the offense is struggling, sputtering, and finding their footing, that defense is going to be key to give the offense some short fields. And I personally, I want to see them just hit Underwood every single play. If they're going to run RPO, they're giving them a free shot, and I want somebody to hit them. I want these backers to be free. I want these D linemen to be able to pin their ears back and go get this kid and make his life hell. I know they're playing in that in the Woody. I know they're playing all that bullshit that Underwood spoke after he committed, talking about he told LeBron it was over with for Ohio State for the next 4 years. Now's the time when you kind of knock the cocky kid down a step and make him realize that he's going up against an NFL caliber defense on each and every level. We've got first rounders all over the place at linebacker, all over the place at secondary, and quite honestly, even though Caden Curry calls those D linemen no names, some of those guys could leak into the first round. Mainly my boy Kenyatta Jackson, who's having an insane year this year. I want to see them just hit this kid relentlessly and really make that offense suffocate. Take away the run, and let's see if this kid can really put up or shut up at 19 years old and win the game.
Well, hey, Jeremiah Smith said the same thing in the summer. He wasn't losing to Michigan again. So back up your words, cast a check if your butt can. If not, then you don't deserve to win. So Brandon, I'll turn to you. Give me your X factor going into this one. For me, I think the X factor is going to be the Michigan offense against Ohio State defense. You know, Michigan's probably going to get their stops they need. Wink's going to adjust against Brian Hartline, and this is Brian Hartline's first rivalry game calling these plays, so maybe the pressure is a little bit on him too. I think Wink's been in this situation before. So last year, he kind of knows what to look for. You got two receivers that you got to account for. But Brandon, what is your biggest X factor going into this one, and what are you keeping your eye on and highlighting throughout this game?
Yeah, so if we lose this game, this will be the first time since 1920 we lost 5 in a row to fucking Michigan. You see this pen right here? You see this right here? Mark Patricia, he's gonna win us this freaking game this week. He's gonna freaking send Caleb Downs. He's gonna send Angel Reese off the edge nonstop. He's gonna freaking pound Underwood, just like Mark said. He's gonna welcome into what Ohio State football is. With Curry coming in this game with 9.5 sacks up in the middle there. I think we're gonna freaking hit the shit out of Underwood. Show him like what's good. Welcome to the Big Ten. And I hope to God we don't fucking let up.
I like you took notes though. That's good for you. I like all your notes you got. I can't wait to hear what you have in the Browns coming up in a little bit. But yeah, it's gonna be a great
It's
game. So
knowledge, bro. It's knowledge. Ain't no
knowledge.
time.
And okay, we'll go knowledge. Okay, son, we'll go there. But this will be a great game. I'm excited. We're not going to pick. We all know who we're taking, so there's no reason to pick. But it's been an exciting game, and this is what it comes down to. So we got a couple scenarios here, and we're going to walk you through. There's a chance. Can you believe there is a chance Michigan Ohio State could play literally the following week if things go the way they could? Can you imagine that if it happens? It would have to. Indiana would have to lose. Oregon would have to lose. And then Michigan would have to obviously beat Ohio State to get the rematch in the Big Ten title game. Or
Not happening.
if Oregon loses, Michigan could still get in, depending on what Indiana does. So we'll see. And I know a couple other people are kind of as cocky as you guys are, and receipts could be had, but we'll see how that game goes. It's gonna be a big one this week coming up in Ann Arbor. We are excited for it and very excited to get the game to get to the game on Saturday. We're going to go really quick. We have a couple shout outs while we're doing it. As Brandon and Kira, his girlfriend, had an amazing Friendsgiving. It was a great time, great people, great food. And Brandon and Kira are just a great group of guys, a great group of people. I know Brandon since high school, or not high school, middle school almost, sixth, seventh grade. I know Mark, been friends with Brandon's brother growing up. So they've been none short of amazing. And I know Kira growing up. So Brandon and Kira, an amazing dinner. It was a great time to hang out, catch up, and all that. Thank you for your hospitality, and we appreciate you so much. And one more shout out. We all know for those
No
watching,
problem, man.
Dave Oldag's birthday's actually this Monday coming up. So as he's a great friend of ours, Brandon played baseball with him growing up. He graduated with Mark, and Dave, happy birthday, my guy. Yeah, he's one of those trollers you talk to. You
You
text.
guys want to celebrate? He'll be at the farm. He'll be there Saturday. Buy him a fucking shot. Yeah, let the kid know.
But yeah, so they, so Dave, he's a great guy. He trolls some. Dave, me and you troll back and forth. But other than that, you're a great friend, a great guy. Hell of a pitcher, though, I'll tell you that. When he pitched in high school, he was a great guy. So, Dave, happy birthday, and hope all is well. As we're gonna move on here, as we're keeping it a little shorter this week because of the holidays. I know you all got stuff to do, so we're not trying to bore you guys with the holidays. We'll be back to normal next week for sure, as me and Mark kind of decided how we wanted to run this show today. So we'll be back to normal next week for sure. We just kind of with the holidays kind of want to get something out there for y'all to listen to. So we're gonna go. This is an interesting story. I can't wait to hear Brandon's thoughts on this. I know Mark has been talking about this, and I know if you're sports fans, Lane Kiffin, what is going on is it's very, very a weird story. As so all signs point to him leaving at this point, from leaving Ole Miss to LSU. Mark, and I know we talked about this. We had a story already until this one came out. What the hell is he think? I don't know if I'm a player. I don't even know if I would want to play for him, Mark. Here on out, knowing he's leaving pretty much at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely puts his school in Ole Miss in kind of a tough spot, tough scenario, especially because he's refuted the fact that he's leaving so heavily. However, Kyle, I did kind of call this earlier in the year when they did fire Brian Kelly officially. LSU has been known to have an assload of money NIL wise, and they're not afraid to spend it. Why don't you just ask the current quarterback at Michigan how much money NIL they were willing to give him until Michigan came with a $10 million package? He was up around 8 mil from LSU. They were willing to pay out Brian Kelly's contract like it was
And they're
nothing.
still fighting over that.
It was no skin off of their back. So I mean, quite honestly, when it comes down to it, LSU is a powerhouse. They have I mean, just look at the kind of guys they put in the NFL, so you know they got money behind them. And quite honestly, I think that's every coach's dream. Once you get there, get into the title. Ask Coach O how that worked out for him. He has already said on other podcasts. Once you win at LSU one time, you're set for life. So I mean, it's a great job, but at the same time, Lane Kiffin's built something in Ole Miss. They've looked good. They're number six in the country right now. So I mean, they're looking at a college football playoff berth here in the next couple of weeks potentially, and you kind of give your kids this downer like you potentially might not be there. And Ole Miss isn't exactly the oldest team out there. They have a decent amount of underclassmen and juniors and things like that. So I mean, you kind of got kids that are trusting you. And going into rivalry week, Mississippi State hasn't been the best team, but they haven't played the worst football either. So I mean, who's
They
to
should have
say that
been.
that doesn't creep up on them um, here to come? But it's definitely a weird situation because he's refuted everything um, until these reports came out that LSU really didn't give a shit what he was saying and they were just going to send the offer. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. The way he's kind of shut those things down, but the door is clearly still open.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird story, and as players, you're just thinking like, oh, well, this coach is leaving. Why, Brandon? I'll come to you. You obviously, you and Mark played, but I'll ask you this, and I'll go back to Mark for this question as well. But why would you want your coach is 1 foot out the door, and then you come in, and then he's like, well, pretty much the contract already signed, like visibly or verbally, because he's leaving. He hasn't refuted anything. He hasn't said, "I'm this is bogus. I'm not leaving." He's 1 foot out the door, Brandon. And as a player, in your mentality, what's going through your mind? On you still got a playoff ahead of you. You still got a championship to chase. But here's your coach talking to other schools. Pretty much don't give a damn about what's going on right now in the current time.
It sounds like some Brooklyn Hurricanes bullshit. What the hell is he thinking? You have a playoff push coming up ahead of you. What happens if they make a playoff run? What do you do?
Yep.
What the hell do you do about that? What are you gonna say? Oh, hey guys, I wanna stay. Welcome back. Hell no. You on this train or you're not, son? Like what the fuck, dude? No, that's insane and terrible. That's all I gotta say. Terrible.
That it's just it's
You know
frustrating.
what I would do if I was a player?
What's
I would
that?
play my ass off and make him want to stay. You don't know. I wouldn't even want to make him stay. I'd be like, "See you, buddy. We're gonna play as hard as shit, hardest if we ever played. Make you regret that decision. If you want to sign a contract,
I
adios, buddy.
I agree. Yeah,
What the hell?
if
What the hell?
if like you don't want to be here, like, and here's the kicker: his decision's got to come by. This is just bizarre. His decision's got to come after Friday's Egg Bowl game against Mississippi State, Mark, and now we've been hearing different things that if Ole Miss doesn't have a coach, they could get penalized in this college football playoff bracket. Maybe not even hosting a first round game. They might have to go on the road. And now if he's not, this is not a kid's first thing, Mark. He's literally putting everything those kids worked for from January in jeopardy by just throwing this all away for a school that will probably wait for them. I will wait until January. I get at the transfer window and all that, but you're this is disservice to the kids. I really feel bad for the kids and knowing that. Well, what do we do from here? The coach don't care. Why should we care?
I mean, yeah, all signs are pointing to him leaving. All big time SEC analysts are saying he's gone. And quite honestly, even if all these reports were quote unquote untrue, and he never was doing this, how do you even come back into the building knowing that? And at the same time, we're talking about an SEC team on the brink of,
Yeah,
like, they don't have really a chance to get into the SEC title outside of a whole lot of help. So you're looking at an at-large bid for the college football playoff. Doesn't this sound familiar? Remember when Florida State got left out because their starting quarterback broke his leg the week prior? It's the same exact thing. And the NCAA committee, the college football committee, has made sure to put out there in their rules, if you're missing a rising star player or a coach or anybody significant in the program, that can be taken into account when it comes to rankings and everything else. So, I mean, if you're talking about, you potentially don't have your head coach and play caller who's actually created a situation where their offense is a really good offense in the college football playoff right now. I believe they're a top 15 offense in the entire country, and Lane Kiffin calls their plays. I mean, how do you even expect to be any type of serviceable in the game, especially when you're talking about, I mean, this kid, that D2 transfer kid, he's played out of his mind, but at the same time, who's to
yeah,
say part of that isn't Lane Kiffin's play calling, and Lane Kiffin's voice in his ear, letting him know, do this, do that, look here, look there. I mean, they're in for it, and I think I'm with you there, Kyle. I do feel bad for these kids because for the first time, Ole Miss really hasn't stumbled too badly to where they've taken themselves out of college football playoff contention. I mean, they had dudes like Jackson Dart at quarterback for the last couple of years. They had other amazing players where they've been right on the cusp and kind of failed right at the end. And this year, it seems like they're poised to actually get to that attempt of a promised land, get into January football. And now your head coach kind of tells you he's up and out of here for an LSU program that, while they have money, they're an extremely old team this year. They have a lot of guys leaving, including their starting quarterback, and that opens transfer windows for not only Ole Miss players but for LSU players up again as well. So it'll be interesting to see. But I mean, I don't really know how, as a player at Ole Miss, you end up wanting to play and give this guy the glory. But at the same time, I think if it's a whoever it might be specifically, when Lane does leave, because I think it is inevitable he does leave. Whoever their interim coach is, they're going to want to play hard for that guy also. So it could work tenfold, and they might end up making a run that might be historic to get whoever that interim coach is into the head coaching seat potentially.
yeah, and I, I'm frustrated for the kids because, well, what do you do? Like you said, Mark, what do they do? Do they transfer? It depends on the coach. Are they going to try to get an interim coach right away? But this is more. This is also the AD's fault too, and the school's fault. I wouldn't even give it till Friday. I would have said, make your decision. If you're done, just go. Let's focus on the rest of the season. Let's go play ball. But now you still have this. This is a very interesting game now.
Yep.
All of a sudden, this is a very interesting game on Friday when it shouldn't have been. Granted, it's a rivalry game, but still, you shouldn't. This should be a game that's like, oh, okay, Ole Miss should probably win. Could it be, a nail biter? Sure,
They should roll.
they should. But now you got to worry about, oh, well, now people are gonna be tuning in not just to see the kids play. How do the kids play for him? That's what I mean. That's what I'll be watching. How the kids play for him, knowing
Yep.
that he's got one foot out the door right now. So this will be a very interesting game, a very interesting Friday night because the decision has to be made after the game unless we know beforehand. I doubt we'll know Thanksgiving. Maybe we will, but I just think and Brandon, when you and I know you kind of went through it with high school. You guys went through two coaches. So when you get a new coach, what is that like? Your thought process like? How do you try to transition from one coach to another, from what you had to what you got to kind of adapt to going forward for the rest of your time in your playing career?
You know, it's very frustrating. The culture you build, the relationship you built with some like coaches prior, it just goes all to waste, all to trash. It's just a dagger, you know, like just that connection just is not there no more. Like it definitely takes a hit, but you know, on to the next, creating that culture again. You just don't know. All coaches coach differently.
Mm-hmm.
They have different mentalities. So,
I mean, yeah, not to
uh,
mention, especially in college, like when I was in college and I played, I had a coaching switch from my freshman to my sophomore year, and you don't even know if those guys are gonna like you, because there's only certain guys that recruit certain areas. So I mean, who's to say half the guys that are there aren't in Lane Kiffin's area of recruiting, so to speak, or his pipeline. Now you got to worry about as a college kid, and you're talking about a big D1 level. Mine was obviously significantly smaller, but you're still worried about, okay, is our recruiting coordinator going to stay? Are the do these do these guys still want me as a recruit, or was it only Lane and his guys? Like now, there's a whole nother world of problems that these kids are going to go through in their own mind, whether it's true or not. It's reality for them that they have no idea if they're actually wanted there, and that's why the transfer portal is going to get so interesting for them because a lot of these kids might up and bail, not realizing that they're still wanted, they're still highly touted in that program, but because their recruiting coaches left, they don't feel comfortable anymore, and they feel like they got to get out before they waste another year of their career.
Yeah,
yeah, piggyback off Mark. Um, like with me, I had Mount Union and Notre Dame of Cleveland. Recruiters texting me, emailing me. All of a sudden, I find out they're not there no more, and
Yep.
nothing ever happened to that man. So it's very unfortunate.
yeah, and don't forget, folks. We talked about with the Penn State job. The transfer window opens as soon as this coach is gone. So some of these players, it depends where they're at in the playoff. They may not be there. Which I would, I if I wouldn't say I know the team, but if the team's in it, I don't see anybody leave until after the season. But that's when it gets interesting because you're in the
Yeah.
playoffs. You get less time to transfer. You get less time, especially if you're coaching. Less time to recruit. Less time to kind of was it like negotiate a transfer portal guy
Yep.
like Ohio State when they won the national championship last year, Mark, and Brandon, folks that might not watch football, you only get a certain amount of time because if you're in the playoffs, you're not really focused on the transfer window right now, and that kind of is kind of a, I mean, for bigger teams like Ohio State, it doesn't really matter, but still at the same time, you could be missing out on a kid that maybe wants to go to Ohio State,
Yeah,
but
but even Ryan Day has spoken about that.
yeah, and Ohio State might be like, well, we want to talk to you, but at the same time, we got a playoff, we got a national championship to go play for, so we can't really, I can't spend my time talking to you. I'll send some, it's just,
You're not allowed.
yeah, it's just, it's weird. It's weird timing, and I hope those kids stick together. If he leaves and they're in the playoffs, obviously they might get penalized. I hope they don't get kicked out. And I hope the committee, okay, lose a first round home game, go on the road. If that's their punishment, that's fine. Let that be their punishment. Just go on the road, but keep them in it. They did all this work, and it sucks. I mean, just for not just from the sport like playing sports, but just the human aspect, just like losing a job. You don't want to see nobody lose a job. These kids are just they're trying to make it. They're trying. Some are probably going to go to NFL, so some are playing for NFL roster spots. But you're still playing for pride. You're still, and who knows? They could be the last standing SEC team. A&M could lose. You just never know in any given game who could lose. So it's a weird story, and we'll be following it throughout the next couple of weeks. We'll probably touch on it next week, me and Mark, when we do know something along with the James Franklin story. I know Mark has a lot, and we cannot wait to dive into that next week when we get back to a little bit of normal programming with you guys. All right, we're going to move on to keep it going here. The Cleveland Browns. How about the Cleveland Browns? It is a victory Monday when we are recording this as Shador Sanders leads the Browns to 24-3 win over the Las Vegas Raiders. Brandon, you are our guest. I know you have lots of opinions on it. The floor is yours. give your State of the Union Browns address. What have you liked? What have you disliked? And the floor is yours.
First off, I would like to say if Stefanski did not start Shadur this weekend,
He has been
he
named
would
the
have been
starter.
out of his freaking mind, buddy. Oh
Yeah.
my
Right.
goodness.
Right. Right.
Played completely like, man, that first throw down the field from Shadur, everybody on the sidelines looked at it like freaking hell was
Woo-hoo.
freezing over. It's like they haven't seen it before. You know why? Because Dylan Gabriel freaking sucks and he doesn't throw downfield.
Yeah.
Shadur,
I
dude. Oh
agree.
my goodness. But I will say
But
Judkins, he's a rookie. Other than those 2 touchdowns, other than that, he only had 44 rushing yards, and those 2 touchdowns came from a 2-yard run and a 8-yard run. Um, thank God he got those because I traded for him in fantasy. But hey, I'm not getting my hopes up because, like I said, the Browns is the Browns. We always get excited, and then the next week, who
yeah.
knows? Shadur could have a freaking completion rate of like 0-46. I ain't getting my hopes up. But hey, way to break that curse though. First rookie, 0-17. Now it's 1-17. So let's go.
That is amazing. And
Hey, Myles Garrett, baby, best defensive player ever.
defense had like almost 10 sacks. That's how bad the Raiders are. So he can't, and
And
Miles is
yep.
doing Miles things. He's going to break the record. Hopefully, he'll break the record this season. If not, definitely close to next season as well, or in next season. But
I
Mark,
think he needs 5 or 6 more.
and he could get. He's got Tennessee coming up. I believe he's got the Bears, but those are, and who knows how the Bengals are going to look when we get to them in a couple of weeks. But, and Mark, I'll turn to you. We're talking about, Shador had a great outing. It's the first start. Now you start getting tape on you, and now you got to try to adjust to what the defenses are showing on tape. Like the 49ers are playing right now Monday night. That's the Browns' next opponent. So if you're Shador, you know what's going to come at you. How should he be adjusting, knowing that, well, the tape's on me now. I got to maybe flip the script a little bit and try to be more aware and be more selective in how I go about things, especially on the field.
See, I don't I don't know that it's really on him. If you read all the reports, if you listen to what's been said, he put in not only the work but extra work. He had 5 extra sessions just in 1 week to prepare for his first start. He already said, and he's already come out and said that that's his normal preparation. That's what he did in college. Dion has also backed that up. So he's putting in the hours, he's putting in the preparation, he's putting in the film. I think what it actually means is Kevin Stefanski, it's on you to quit sandbagging this fucking kid, for one, open up the playbook and actually let him play. Brandon alluded to Judkins' 2 touchdown runs. Notice how on those 2, I believe they were like 4-yard runs apiece.
Yeah.
Shador Sanders wasn't even on the field. We run Wildcat.
It was a
Um,
direct snap.
it's clear that Stefanski still doesn't like this kid. If you look at everything that went on, he blatantly tried to keep this kid away from touchdowns and away from stats. He punts. I want him to fucking investigate. A matter of fact, hey Cash Patel, I hope you tune into this podcast because I think Kevin Stefanski is fucking point shaving. You punt on on the opponent's 30-yard line, 29.
Yeah.
You're on the opponent's 29-yard line. You could kick a fucking field goal or just go for it if you really think that you're in no man's land. And yet he fucking punts. That's point shaving. You want to know why? Because had he just kicked a field goal like a normal fucking coach, the over hits. Not that I took the over, but you got to look at these things. Look at all the fucking shit around sports right
You
now.
took over.
Cash Patel, this is my fucking sign to you right now, buddy. Go to Kevin Stefanski's house, arrest him so that we can fire him once and for all. This guy's a fucking bum. He has no idea how to coach. You can take those 2 coach of the years and shove them up your ass because they're fucking fraudulent. You're sandbagging a kid that is willing to push the ball down the field. You've seen his throw to Isaiah Bond. You've seen that he can make a simple screen pass that guys like Dylan Gabriel sails into the fucking sideline. I mean, he looked great. Now, granted, the defense did fool him on that one interception. He thought the linebacker was going to go to the flat. Linebacker kind of stuck there. But at the same time, you're playing a 49ers defense next week, Brandon, that quite honestly hasn't been the same type of 49ers defense that we've been used to. They're missing a lot of pieces, including arguably one of the best linebackers in all of the NFL, in Fred Warner. They've been kind of lackluster getting into a lot of shootouts. Meanwhile, the Browns defense, all things considered, is playing still on the top of their game, quite honestly. I mean, they're on the field for probably what, 80% of the time. So their numbers are a bit skewed. But when they have an offense that's at least gonna hold on to the ball for them a little while, I mean, they look good. You've got Garrett. I think they said he's on pace for 26 sacks on the year. I believe he's at 18 or 18 and a
26,
half.
28. Yeah.
So as of right now, I mean, you're looking at a defense where our defense is playing at the top of its game pretty much all year long. This is Super Bowl level defense here in Cleveland. They're just on the field too damn much, and you're going up against another defense. The Raiders defense was ass, but the 49ers defense is hampered, and they've got a handicap sticker in their window right now. So Shador's getting another crack at honestly what would be a relatively lackluster defense, all things considered, right now. If Jerry Judy doesn't do the hopscotch in the middle of a game, we're probably talking about
Yeah.
an even better stat line for Shador Sanders. Jerry Judy, please
Right.
never skip on the football field again, my guy. But I think Shador excels, and then the seat gets real hot for Stefanski because Dylan Gabriel should be coming out of protocol soon. And Watson's in the building, I believe. They're
He's
slated
out of
to.
protocol today.
Oh yeah, Gabriel is out of protocol today.
Yeah.
So I mean, now it's what do you do when Shador balls out again and shows you exactly what he said in that pregame interview and exactly what he showed you. He is who we've all been looking for. The kid's gonna be a star. I've been riding the train since he's in college. I think he's gonna be great. I'm just ready for Stefanski to quit sandbagging this fucking kid and let him play some football.
Hey, my thoughts on this is AB Stefanski. There's no way in hell, as much as we all want them to go, they are not going anywhere this year. Point period blank. Browns are too dumb to do that. Um, well, they're too smart, I should say.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I'd
they won't.
agree.
They're not going to let him go until next year. They're going to give Stefanski and AB another chance with 2 first-round picks next year. Which, if Sador balls out and we know that he could be our quarterback in the future, I'd say go receiver and O lineman
That's what I've been saying exactly.
the 2 first rounders next year. And then also like the Browns they literally have a chance to win next week. They really do. And like Mark was saying, you give us an offense just like this past week and gets the defense off the field. The defense goes off field and the offense continues to run the ball and take time of possession. Like other than that, we're the best defense in the league.
Yep.
Like Mark said, we're on the field 80%, which skews our numbers a little bit. But you take that away, if you give us a good offense like last week, our defense is lights out. I think that could be the upcoming game. I think 49ers, I think the Browns could definitely win. I got money on the Browns next week, especially with their 49ers skewed defense. I have all hope that the Browns could stop Brock Purdy and the CMC 49ers offense next week.
Yep.
No, and I agree. And the defense has been the MVP of the team this year because they've been. And credit to Jim Schwartz. What a guy! What a coach he is. You know, he could have left and probably taken any other job. I do wonder what kind of calls he got last year,
Yep.
last season. But he's been a great addition. And Mark, I'll toss it back to you as a Jim Schwartz. You know what?
Kyle, you keep cutting out.
Yeah, I know it's my internet, but um, what do you think about Jim Schwartz? Do you think we keep him? Do you think he finds a new
Mark, you
job
there?
next year? What do you think?
All right. It seems like we lost both Kyle and Mark. What do you guys think of the high school NIL? Got approved by Ohio today. Um, that's actually insane. If they got a NIL offer, if Brooklyn would have put in, to get some money, they probably look at the address, say it's from Brooklyn, Ohio, toss it in the trash. Just how Brooklyn Hurricanes is, if you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know.
Nope.
We back?
We're back. Sorry, folks. Is Mark out too? Oh boy, this is wild stuff.
Mark and you both left me.
Oh, we're back, but So what do you, so
Sorry, people. Mark and Kyle got that Five Below connection. My bad.
yeah, we
They're
got
bad.
those damn cows, but no, what do you think? What do you give me your thoughts on Jim Schwartz? What do you think about him? And do you think the Browns can hold on to him, especially after this season?
Kyle, you cut out. What was that?
What do you think about Jim Schwartz? And can you think they could keep him next season, or Browns keep him next season?
I think so. I think Jim Shorts could honestly have left this season if he wanted to. I think why leave when you have the best defense in the whole NFL?
Right,
That's what I gotta say.
right.
I think eventually it's going to turn into a Greg Williams situation where
You
they
think?
get rid of Stefanski next year. Greg Williams takes over at interim head coach.
Hmm.
The Browns go on a little run. But, when Greg Williams took over, we honestly came short of the playoffs. But you know what? I think next year the script is Jim Schwartz is going to take over as interim head coach, and they're going to take the Browns to the promised land next year.
I mean,
Hmm.
Schwartz wasn't bad in his stint in Detroit there for a while. He had some of the best Detroit years until he decided he no longer wanted to be a head coach. As we apologize to Brandon for some technical difficulties, kind of all over the place. As you know, if you've been watching the show,
Kyle got that rural farm connection.
Kyle has
Freaking connection out of Kyle's ass in his backyard.
Kyle's got the 9 o'clock got the 9 o'clock glitchies and now
Kyle's
lost
freaking
connection for a
antenna's a
minute.
corn stalk in the damn field.
And now I gotta figure out how to get my dogs a tooth fairy, as I got puppies losing teeth all over the place over here. But as far as Jim Schwartz goes, I also get the feeling though that his name is going to come up somewhere in some of these head coaching runs as Black Monday comes up for the NFL here
Yep.
in a couple months. I mean, you're seeing a lot of teams underperform as well. So he kind of more or less built this Cleveland defense from halfway scratch. I mean, he had Miles, but outside of that, we had pretty much Miles and Ward, and now he's kind of pieced his way into obviously a top three defense in the league, um, pretty much for the last 2 years easily.
Yep.
So I'll be interested to see where his name kind of comes up in some of these coaching searches. I know at least last year, I believe the reports were that he didn't even want to be a head coach again unless money was really really right. So I think he enjoys being a coordinator. I just hope he doesn't stop enjoying being a coordinator in Cleveland because he's been a godsend for this team, and he's even with dog shit offenses, he's keeping us engaged and giving us opportunities to win.
Yeah.
That's right. And I truly think like some coordinators are meant to be
Yeah,
coordinators. They are not meant to be head coaches. I think Jim Schwartz knows
that's
that.
facts. That's facts. I did not even think about that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be very interesting. Jim Schwartz, he's a great coach,
All
and
right,
And
look
there
what he's
goes
done,
uh
and the
there
stats
goes
prove it. And
that's
Spurrier.
what
Miles
you
Garrett,
get
how
for
about
having an
Miles? Let's get
antenna
some love to Miles,
as
Brandon,
your corn stalk
and
as an
on how
antenna.
he has
I
played
do
the.
want to touch though, Brandon. You talked a little bit about you felt that Barry and Stefanski probably get another year. What do you think about the fact that there seems to be this tension between him and Stefanski all of a sudden after about the midway point of this year, where it seems like they're kind of on two different agendas with the way they want this offensive future to look. Clearly, Shador's Andrew Barry's guy. Dylan Gabriel seems to be not only Stefanski's guy, but at first he was the owner Jimmy Haslam's guy. How do you think that dynamic ends up working if all these reports really are true and ultimately one of the two's guys have to win, right? Barry and Shador or Gabriel and Stefanski. One of them is going to emerge as probably the starter next year, unless unfortunately, in Browns fashion, they both end up tanking and we're right back with DW4 next year, starting as our quarterback week one. What do you think about those reports and kind of what we're seeing unfold as the weeks progress, where you're seeing Andrew Berry hug Shador in the locker room, but you're also seeing Kevin Stefanski barely even say his name in a record-breaking win last week in his first start.
Yeah, I truly think Stefanski definitely wants to lean more on Dylan Gabriel, while AB is leaning more towards Shador. No doubt in my mind, weeks before this, there was a video I saw resurface, and it all makes sense. I think the NFL truly manipulate the Browns. They don't want a kid like Shadur Sanders. Not I know he was 11, 12 in college. He got all this money from the NIL. They did not want to bring that in NFL, which, in my opinion, is the reason why he drops. I
I
think
agree.
it's all. I think it's all manipulation. They're manipulating the Browns. I think they all came together and like, hey, make sure you don't start Shadur. But you can only do it for so long. They finally do it. I think at the end of the day, Barry and Stefanski wants the same thing. They're just taking different paths to do so. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that's about it. Um, I just don't think they're gonna as much as we want Stefanski and AB gone. There's no way they do that, knowing you have two first round picks next year. Let's see what they do with that, and then we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. And Kyle, I'll throw it to you here for a second as well. Touch with Brandon on what seems to be the rift with Stefanski and Barry and what that means for the future. We've always kind of thought of them as a package deal, so to speak, but it obviously seems like there's a bit of some choosing sides when it comes to the quarterback and the future of this offense. Kyle, I'll throw it to you. As you kind of know, I feel like Barry has at least bought himself another year with honestly a tremendous draft class this past year. When you look at Swessinger, you look at Judkins. If Shador pans out the way we think he pans out, you look at Shador. He traded and got those that second first round pick next year. For the first time in a while, he's hit on a bunch of that stuff. I think he did buy himself a year, Kyle. But when you look at the reports of what this rift kind of looks like with them two, how do you see it kind of playing out? As you hear, Brandon still thinks that they're somewhat of a package deal. I'm going to throw it over to you. What do you think when it comes down to it? Is the rift big enough where you could see one staying longer than the other, or do you still think they're a package deal, all things considered?
I don't
Well,
think they're a package deal. I just don't see us getting rid of them both.
well, I
They
don't know
both stink. That's my opinion.
if they brought it up. I don't know if y'all brought it up when I was dealing with the cows, but Jimmy Haslam did say they were that 3-14 was not going to cut it. Now they got Tennessee still on the on the schedule. They should be a win. Maybe you steal one from the Bears, like Brandon said. Maybe you steal one from
I think there's a cow on your connection or something.
San Francisco this
Turn off the
week.
tractor, buddy.
But it's gonna be very interesting to see how this happens because then you got two games or like two division games left between Bengals who are still kind of in a in a rough spot. They're 3-8. They don't even know who their quarterback is. The Steelers are still playing are still they might not even make the playoffs at this point. The Steelers they're 6-5. They don't even know when Rodgers is going to come back. So it's very interesting to see. But 3-14 is not going to cut. Can they get maybe 4 or 5 wins? Yeah, but then I asked a question. I know Brandon, I asked you earlier in our one of our text chains we have, but what happens if they? I'll ask you, Mark. What happens if they go 4-12 or 4-13, whatever it is? Do they keep Stefanski another year, knowing that they're 5-12, knowing that this could be the same result next year? But you still got a decent draft class, and maybe AB hits on another one. Then what do you do?
It seems like you cut out during the question. I'm going to assume it was what happens if AB um has to draft another quarterback next year. Is that the question at hand?
So what happened? So I was asking more Stefanski if they get past 3-14, they're 4-13 or 5-12. What do you think? Does Stefanski stay? Does he go? Or how does that happen? Knowing that it could be in the same spot next year with this roster.
I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting. I think I don't know that wins necessarily matter for what it is that they're going to be. I think I'm kind of in the same boat as Brandon where no matter if they lose out or honestly, if like obviously we'll probably beat Tennessee. So you pick up
We
a third
should.
win there.
We should.
Um, pretty much no matter what. I mean, if you lose to Tennessee, then maybe we have some talks because I mean they're just dog shit ass. But when it comes to the rest of the season, I really truly do think that unfortunately they both. I'm kind of in the same boat as Brandon. I think they both unfortunately get a pass based off of the fact that they can both look at quarterback controversy, so to speak. to start the year, considering they had three quarterbacks throughout the stint this year, potentially four if they let Watson play at all this season, which I don't see happening. I don't even think they opened his practice window yet, and they only have, I think, this week to do so on his 21-day window. Otherwise, they have to sit him for the rest of the season. I know he started to travel with the team, but I don't think wins and losses really matter as far as keeping those two is concerned. I think more or less what it'll be is what do they do with those first round picks, as Brandon said, next year, and quite honestly, what do they do with both of these rookie quarterbacks going into next year as well? Because you're going to have to answer to at least one of them. You're going to have to go into next year choosing one, unless, because quite honestly, I mean, we're all college football guys as well. If you look at college football, there's no real incoming rookie quarterback that stands out that's gonna really change your franchise. Like everybody thought it would maybe be Drew Aller from Penn State, and in my opinion, he took another step back this year and then got injured.
Yeah.
I mean, John Mateer had a decent year, but he has injury concerns, and quite honestly, he has passing concerns. He's more of a Johnny Manziel type. You got Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt, who is also a Johnny Manziel lookalike. So I mean, you're not really having like you have good college quarterbacks coming out, but at the same time, like you don't have anybody that's going to change a franchise. And you were hoping Arch Manning was that, but let's be honest, he hasn't looked anywhere close to his last name outside of the fact that it's on the back of his jersey this year. So I think unfortunately the Browns front office gets one more year to work through those first two picks. I would love to see them regardless work it as a receiver and a lineman to give your quarterback something to work with, no matter who's at the helm next year. I mean, he's got Jerry Jeudy, who's probably a fringe number two wide receiver as their number one. Tillman as your number two, and I mean, he can't even stay on the
I mean,
field. Bond has looked
yeah.
good in chances this year, but they're not giving him a whole lot of chances. So I wonder what's going on there. I think he can be a stud number two, number three receiver in a few years, but at the same time, I think Barry has to look at retooling this offense a little bit for any quarterback to succeed. But we'll see what happens. I think we're
What
unfortunately stuck with these two chuckle fucks the next 2 years.
What about I don't know if I asked Mark. I think I asked Brandon in our check chain. What about Keon Coleman? We don't know what's going on in Buffalo. He's supposedly was late to meetings and was late to a lot of or was late, so he's been benched the last two games. Do you take a swing on Keon Coleman? I mean, what do you got to lose? I mean, this organization already a clown show as it is. Why not add to it? I mean, you get that big body receiver, you get Bond, and you get Judy in the middle. I mean, what? I mean, I'll ask you, Brandon. Would you take Keon Coleman if the price was right for a draft pick?
Kyle, I think you hello. Kyle, I think you're asking me if would I take a chance on Keon Coleman?
Yeah.
After all those like missing films and stuff like that. I mean the Browns thing would be, yeah, let's take a chance on him. Why not? But me, absolutely not. If he can't succeed with Josh Allen, if he comes up late to practice, films, misses games, I don't want him here. That's just gonna drain our culture even more. Whatever culture we have left in that locker room.
I mean, yeah, I think I agree with that. I liked Keon Coleman after his rookie year. I thought he'd have a breakout year this year. He sat now 2 games in a row over late meetings as a healthy scratch. The Browns do typically give guys like that a second chance, but quite honestly, you're still looking at who the Bills think would be their number one wide receiver if he could get his shit together. So you're probably spending a draft pick that really doesn't make sense to give up for a guy that really is a contested ball catcher, and that's about it. Like I liked Keon Coleman in college; he was an extremely good college receiver, um, but that's because he was just more athletic than everybody else. If you
Right.
notice, since he's been in Buffalo, he doesn't get much separation, and he has to rely on his athleticism to beat corners. But at the same time, if you're looking for that as your number one, you don't have Josh Allen at quarterback to put it in the perfect spot either. So, I mean, you're kind of doing a disservice to not only your team, being that he misses meetings and he has these troubles in his sophomore campaign, but at the same time, I mean, you're looking at a guy that can't get separation in the NFL, and this was supposed to be his breakout year this year with an MVP quarterback who's playing at an MVP level still. I mean, he's still
Right.
getting outshined by guys like Khalil Shakir and random no name guys. So I mean, while I think quite honestly after his rookie year, that's when I might have taken a swing on him. But right now, I think being the fact that Buffalo still wants to, like, when you listen to about the interviews, listen to the players, they still believe him to be what's going to be their number one wide receiver here coming up. I mean, you're gonna have to spend too high of a draft pick to take a guy in that hasn't necessarily gotten it yet in the NFL and doesn't seem to be maturing at the level that you want him to mature at, especially when you're asking him to come in and partially save an offense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting to see how they do. I mean, I would take a swing, but that just I don't think it'll get too average. Maybe a fourth or fifth
And
rounder.
as
I mean,
Kyle
we have a
left
lot of
there, I'm
fifth
not
rounders for
sure
God's sake. I mean, that's
um,
all we do is trade
if
fifth rounders when we
he
do
has any
trade players. I
more
think wasn't Newsom
questions. I
like a
know there's
fourth
been
or fifth
a whole
round
lot of Browns, a
pick,
whole lot
or
of
was
Ohio
he
State
third
talk here
or
today. That was
something like that?
mainly
I don't know
what we were looking at
which one it
as
was, but
obviously we have the big game
I don't
this
know.
weekend,
It's gonna be
and
frustrating. It's definitely
we
interesting to
have
see.
Shador's second
Definitely.
start. Brandon, I am going to touch real quick before we'll see if we get Kyle get back on here, but I am going to touch real quick. I would like to hear where you think not only the Ohio State game goes score wise, but where the Browns game goes score wise against the 49ers. Give me your picks and give me a score. Relatively speaking, of where you think those two big games end up here as we come to the end of the show.
Yeah, I really think Ohio State's going to pick up the pace a little bit here. I think it's going to be 34-10 Ohio State. Um, and then for the Browns, I really think they could pull it off this week. I believe it's going to be 24-17 Cleveland Browns.
I like those. I like those a lot. Kyle, I'm going to throw it over to you real quick. Um, as I know you just jumped back on before we sign off here and give our final whistle. I know we all know where we're going, but what do you think in regards to scores for our two big games that we pretty much covered today? Where do you think the Ohio State Michigan game ends up score wise? And where do you think the Browns 49ers score wise ends up relatively speaking after our conversation today with us two and with Brandon?
Boo! This guy.
Very interesting take, very Homer take. I'm gonna
Put your
go.
money where your mouth is, buddy.
I'm gonna take the Homer take as well, but quite honestly, I think Ohio State blows this game open even worse than we've seen in the past. I think they open up um, something here where they give a couple of years back all in one game. I could see it being about like a 35-14 type of a game where the defense is just I mean they just open up a can of whoop ass and give the offense a bunch of short fields. I'm going 34-14 Ohio State on the game there. I think I'm with Brandon on this one. I think the Browns win a close one. I like the way Shador played within the offense. I like the way our defense is playing. And you see when Sanders was named the starter last weekend, and when the players talk about him, the energy that's in the building, I think they carry that over quite honestly. And I take the Browns on a 21-17 game. I think it'll be close. The 49ers aren't a joke, to say the least. But I think the Browns pull it off, and we're on perfect timing with the 2-0 record with Shador at the helm. Um, It looks like Kyle's trying to hop back in and out. I know his Wi-Fi is going a little bit crazy, but on behalf of myself and Kyle, I want to give just one more big shout out to our guy Brandon for hopping on today. He gave some great takes. He gave some great insight on our Browns and on our Ohio State football team. Obviously, Kyle loves Michigan Wolverines for whatever reason. That sounds like a personal problem to him. But as we work to sign off here, Brandon, let the people know where to find you on social media if you'd like. I know you got a lot of things going on. I know you run the exciting new Dick's Sporting Goods over there in Strongsville. So if you have anything to say before we sign out here, anywhere they can find you, any help at the store, plug that. Go ahead and plug that in now.
Yeah, I'm not really part of social media anymore. I kind of laid low on that. Yeah, find me at Dick's House of Sport, new House of Sport, 34th in the nation. Close to a 200,000 square foot Dick's Sporting Goods, the third one in Ohio. So, yeah, come see me there. We do some very fun there. It's an adult playground there with sports.
And there you have it. I think Kyle might jump back in. We'll see what happens here. But again, Brandon, on behalf of the Final Whistle podcast, we appreciate you being a guest. We appreciate you coming on, Kyle. I appreciate you being here as well. Obviously, we had a great show for our rivalry week. We all knew this was coming. We can't wait to break down next week with you on the results here. Kyle, anything you want to add here before we sign off and give the people our final whistle?
Yeah, Brandon, real quick, I know because I'm probably getting cut off. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you. We're going to have you back for sure. We appreciate you so much. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Remember, be safe, be smart, don't do dumb things, and we'll see you next week only on oh, God, yes, eat turkey, eat a lot of turkey. We'll see you next week on the Final Whistle. Goodbye. Be a friend, tell friends something nice. It might change their life. Go Blue. Thank you.